welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into something big, more than just a book, really.
Yeah, it's more like a mindset shift, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. We're talking about Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Hmm.
It's just reshaped how millions think about money.
It really has.
So yeah, less a standard financial guide, more an invitation to completely rethink wealth. We've pulled the key ideas from a deep look at his philosophy.
And that's what we want to do here, pull out those really potent nuggets of wisdom.
Right.
Because this book is so influential, we want you to get not just what the ideas are, but, why they might actually matter for your own finances.
Like a shortcut, almost.
Exactly. A shortcut to stuff traditional education just skips.
Yeah, totally skips. And the author behind it, Robert Kiyosaki, Japanese-American investor, sharp businessman, speaker.
An author, obviously.
An author, right. His core message, it kind of hits you right away. Schools don't teach money. That's where you need to learn it yourself.
It's provocative, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
It doesn't just set the tone. It challenges how most of us were taught to think about success and security.
It's a real wake-up call for financial literacy. That core idea, it shines a light on this big gap.
A gap in education.
Yeah. Formal education, degrees, they're valuable, sure, but they often leave you totally unprepared when it comes to actual money management.
Like learning construction without learning budgeting.
Something like that, yeah. The theory, maybe, but not the practical application of keeping the project, your life, financially sound.
So if school doesn't teach it, where do you learn? And Kiyosaki, he takes us back to his childhood, right? This whole idea of two fathers, two philosophies.
That's the central framing device. It's brilliant, actually.
He talks about learning from two different guys. His poor dad, that was his real dad, highly educated, respected, but always struggling with money.
Right. Always worried about bills, job security.
And then there's rich dad, his friend's father. Dropped out of school, apparently.
Yeah, but became a really successful entrepreneur, built real wealth.
It's such a stark contrast.
And that's the power of it. It immediately makes you question assumptions. Like, does a good education and a good job automatically mean you'll be financially okay?
Clearly not in this telling.
Right. Kiyosaki felt that pull himself, Two totally different sets of advice. One dad saying, get a good job, climb the ladder, save.
The traditional path.
The traditional path. The other dad saying, own assets, understand taxes, build businesses.
Very different.
It forces you, the reader, to ask, okay, what is real financial education then? Is it grades and degrees? Or is it something else?
Something more practical.
Exactly. More about real-world results, building actual freedom. For Kiyosaki, it's definitely the second one.
Which leads right into the core message, doesn't it? The sheer power of financial education itself.
Mm-hmm.
Kiyosaki's point isn't just earn more money, it's understand money. He literally says, earning money isn't important, understanding money is.
It's about literacy, like learning a language.
Yeah, the language of money. Assets, liabilities, investments, taxes, all that stuff.
Stuff you just don't get in school.
Right. And he argues these aren't just like nice to haves. They're vital. You need these skills for modern life. Without them, you're kind of lost.
You're playing the game without knowing the rules, basically. And that's why this distinction is so important. It shows up this huge flaw in how we usually learn things.
How so?
Well, think about it. We're mostly trained to work for money, right? Trade your time, your skills, for a paycheck.
Standard career path.
Yeah. But almost nobody teaches you how to make money work for you. And that's not a small oversight. It's fundamental.
So he's saying you have to seek it out yourself.
Absolutely. Take responsibility. Don't wait for school or your boss to teach you. Build that financial intelligence yourself. It's a skill like any other. You have to train it.
It's not just about saving then.
No, that's a huge point for many readers. Saving is great, but you need to know where to put those savings so they actually grow independently.
Which brings us to maybe the most famous part of the book. That definition. So simple, but it just flips everything.
The asset versus liability definition.
Yeah. Rich Dad says straight up, an asset puts money in your pocket, a liability takes money out.
It sounds basic, but honestly, that line, it changed how so many people saw investing, myself included, when I first read it.
How did it change things?
Well, before that, people just assumed, my house is my biggest asset.
Yeah, that's common thinking.
But if that house has a big mortgage, taxes, repairs, and it's just costing you money every month, by Rich Dad's definition.
It's a liability.
It's a liability. Same with a fancy car. Looks nice, feels like wealth, but it depreciates, costs gas, insurance, takes money out of your pocket.
So it's all about cash flow.
Exactly. It's not about the label. It's about what it does to your bank account month after month. Even a business, Kiyosaki would say.
Even a business.
Yeah, if it needs you working 80 hours a week just to break even, and you're not getting paid for that time, is it really putting money in your pocket without you? Or is it just a job you own?
Interesting distinction.
A true asset, for Kiyosaki, generates income or grows in value, ideally, without you having to constantly work at it, like a rental property where the rent covers more than the costs.
So understanding that is step one.
Absolutely step one. Before you can build wealth, you have to stop confusing assets with liabilities that just drain your money. It makes you look at every purchase, every investment totally differently.
Through that cash flow lens.
Through that cash flow lens, yes.
Okay, so if you're focused on assets, how does that change the way you look at, say, your day job, your salary?
Good question. Because the book's perspective on jobs is, well, pretty radical for some.
What does it say?
Basically, if you're only working for that salary, Kiyosaki argues, you might never get truly free, financially speaking.
That's a tough pill to swallow if you've always aimed for that stable job.
It is. But Rich Dad's view was different. He saw jobs primarily as learning opportunities.
Learning opportunities, not just income sources.
Right. So the question for you, the listener, becomes, how can you use your current job to learn skills that will help you build assets later?
What kind of skills?
Things like real business skills, understanding accounting, even basically marketing knowledge, sales experience, stuff you can use to build your own thing eventually.
So you're leveraging your job for future gain, not just the current paycheck.
Exactly. You're sort of training for a different game. You're not just trying to climb the corporate ladder. You're asking, what can I learn here that makes me a better entrepreneur or investor down the road?
Like volunteering for different projects.
Yeah, or paying attention to how the business actually runs. It's a shift from being just an employee of the company to being an employee working for your own financial future.
Okay, so learn while you earn, then use that knowledge to build wealth. How does the book suggest you actually build that wealth?
It really pushes an entrepreneurial mindset, building your own business, or at least building a strong investment portfolio.
And it gives examples, right? Like real estate.
Yeah, real estate is a big one for Kiyosaki, stocks too. Even side hustles. It's about creating assets actively, not just waiting for a paycheck.
So the big picture is you build assets while you still have your job.
That's the ideal path he lays out, building assets alongside a job. And look, that might sound daunting, like start a business. I can't do that.
Yeah, it can feel overwhelming.
Totally. But the key question is, how can you start small, even while you're working full-time?
Quite.
Maybe it's just putting a little bit away each month into a simple index fund. Low cost gets you into the market.
Okay.
Or maybe it's a tiny side hustle, selling crafts online, tutoring, something you enjoy. But the crucial part is taking the income from that.
And reinvesting it.
And reinvesting it into more assets. Start that snowball rolling. Get your money working for you. Create other income streams.
So you're not just relying on your job.
Exactly. It's not always about how much money you start with. Kiyosaki stresses that. It's about starting and about constantly learning about investing.
But there's a big hurdle people face, isn't there? Something a book talks about a lot.
Yes.
Fear.
Just plain old fear. Fear of losing money, fear of failure, fear of looking stupid.
It's huge.
Well,
And he tackles it directly. Says it's one of the biggest things holding people back.
and this ties back into the mindset thing again.
Absolutely.
Right.
Because Kiyosaki basically says success isn't just strategy, it's psychology. It's how you think.
Poverty is a thought, wealth is a mindset. That line.
That's the one. It's not just a catchy phrase. It draws this line between two ways of seeing the world. The rich dad mindset sees opportunity even in risk. Mistakes are just learning.
Okay.
The poor dad mindset, though, is dominated by fear of loss. So it plays it safe, avoids risk,
And misses opportunity.
and misses opportunities.
Hmm.
Like poor dad might see real estate as too risky. Market could crash, right?
Hmm.
Better stick with a savings account.
Yeah, sounds familiar. Rich dad sees the same deal, acknowledges the risk, but then asks, okay, how can I mitigate that? How can I learn enough to make this work? What's the potential upside? It's about reframing risk as opportunity.
So it puts a responsibility on you, on your thinking.
Totally. It shifts it away from blaming the economy or your boss and puts it squarely on your beliefs, your attitude, your willingness to learn from everything good and bad.
Wow. when you put all that together, it's easy to see why people call this book an eye-opener.
It really is.
It gives that clarity, boosts confidence, helps you really get passive income and financial freedom.
Yeah.
It's like seeing the world through new glasses.
Definitely a financial awakening for many. And yeah, it hits hard for students, freelancers, entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
people already looking for different paths.
But it's broader than that.
Oh, yeah. It's really for anyone who wants to, as the book says, befriend money, not chase it.
Befriend money. I like that.
It's about feeling empowered, in control, not constantly stressed, just working harder to keep up. It gives you tools to make deliberate choices, to move from just being a consumer to actually, creating wealth.
Right.
So thinking about all this, if financial education really is different from school education, and if mindset is so crucial, here's something for you, the listener, to think about.
Okay.
What's one small, concrete step you could take, maybe just this week, to learn something new, something about assets, liabilities, investing, something to start shifting your own financial mindset?
Could be anything small.
Anything. Read an article, listen to another deep dive like this one. Maybe just look at a recent purchase you made and ask, was that an asset or a liability according to Rich Dad? Even a tiny step can start a big change.
That's a powerful thought to leave people with. A great question to mull over this week.
Hopefully.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We really hope it sparks something for you on your financial journey.